Let's be real, making a comic takes a lot of time. More time than we expected. And at some point, you hit that wall. You're tired, you're behind schedule, maybe you're feeling like you lost the spark. If that's where you're at or where you've been, this episode is for you. Welcome to today's episode of Panels in Progress. I'm Chris, and today I'm not talking about technique or workflow. I'm talking about how to keep your project going, even when it starts feeling like you might never finish. What it means to finish slowly, and why you're not failing, you're just in progress. This is something that I kind of wanted to put right after the inking episode, preferably before the flatting episode, but this can happen at any point in your project. If you're working on a long project like myself, this could happen in the layout phase, this could happen in the penciling phase, this could happen in the inking or the flatting phase or the finishing phase. I guess it's not necessarily burnout, but it's feeling as if you're swimming in the ocean and you haven't seen land in a really long time. This is where you really see what you're made of. And hopefully today's episode will inspire you to keep going. First and foremost, whenever you're planning your comic, you think in your head, oh, I've done this 1,000 times, or I've done this a couple times. I think I know how long it's going to take. And your comic that is only 24 pages, only 50 pages, only 100 pages, ends up taking way longer than you expected because you didn't think that you would have any problems along the way. And this happens a lot more for solo creators because you're writing the story and you're also drawing the story. So life comes up. Unexpected things happen where it just takes time. You have delays, you have burnouts, you have art block, or you're procrastinating, or you literally just don't have time because if you're like me, you have a day job and you have responsibilities that you have to do at home. And somewhere in all of that, you have to figure out how to carve out time to make your story, to draw, to flat, to color. On my comic Doppel, it's a horror one-shot and it's 55 pages, not including the cover and back details. And I intended to have this comic done within 3 months. 4 max. That was back in November. And you'll probably be seeing this episode within the next few months. Hopefully I'm done by then, but right now, on June 1st, I am not done with this comic. And I'm still making progress. I'm still working away at it, but it is taking me a lot longer than I expected it to take because I hit a lot of roadblocks along the way that I didn't realize would happen. But I'm still going. I'm still pushing myself. And I guess I want to share this because it's exactly what I need to hear, which is just keep going. Just keep drawing. And what I've compiled today is some ideas and some reminders to keep you moving forward, to keep you progressing, to keep you creating. So let's get started. Number 1, celebrate the small wins over the big milestones. Of course, you want to finish the thing, but think about chunks, small chunks. I think I heard, I'm not sure exactly where the idea came from, but it was one of the podcasters I was listening to, and they were talking about breaking down a big process or a big plan into small steps. And they used a tree as an analogy. Don't try to just chop the tree down in one swoop. If you can't do the whole tree, you chunk that down. Start with the branches. If the branches are too big, then you go to the leaves. If the leaves are too big, then you tear the leaves in half. Like, whatever you have to do, you break it down as much as possible. You focus on finishing one page, finish one panel, one task. Just do something, especially if you're crunched for time. Create a list of all the things that you need to do for that day and just focus on those things. Top 3 things you want to finish. So for me, like a daily thing that I do is like, I know that after work I have 2 hours to work on my comic, so I focus on, I hope to work on a whole page, but sometimes it's just 3 panels. Ink every single panel, pencil every single panel on that page. Those 3 panels, that whatever I can do with those 2 hours, I try to get it done. And if I'm really focused in, sometimes I end up doing more, but I try not to be hard on myself if I can't do a whole page, because the ultimate goal is, yes, I would love to do a page a day in whatever stage. I do all the inking one day, I do all the flatting one day, all the details another day, and so on and so forth. But some days, maybe all I can do for the whole week is 3 pages. So give yourself a break, relax, one step at a time. You can also, for momentum, break your comic down. So let's say you have a 24-page comic or manga, or 20-page manga, whatever. Instead of saying you need to finish the whole thing, maybe focus on 10 pages, which is the half mark, or even smaller, pages of 5. Currently on my comic, I'm focusing on the scenes. Each scene is between 5 to 6 pages. Every time I change the locations, that's another milestone for me. And you can say, like, you can visually see, like, okay, I've got this much done. You can use visual trackers, a checklist. I think Jake has a wall grid. Whatever shows that you are progressing. In my journal, I have little boxes that I check off to see how I'm moving through. To me, that works because every day I get to check something off. I also keep a tracker on the days that I'm working on my comic so I can know how long it's actually taking me. That might be at my own detriment because seeing how long I've been working on my comic is a lot, but it's also a constant reminder that every single day I showed up to work on it. You know, no matter whether I'm taking a long time or taking longer than I expected, every single day I showed up. So if you're showing up to work on yours, then have that visual tracker, and then I think that information will help you on the next comic you work on, because you'll know that, oh, it took me 4 weeks to do all the colors for 24 pages, or it took me 6 weeks to do all the penciling for 30 pages, etc., etc. So try out a visual tracker. Also, celebrate the boring wins. Finishing your flats, rewriting dialogue, updating reference sheet, it all counts. And sometimes, for me, like I said, if I only have an hour or 30 minutes, now the old me would get pissed off and be like, man, I've only got 30 minutes to work on this thing. I need the full 2 hours. I can't get anything done in 30 minutes, or I can't get anything done in an hour. But you know what? Some days when I decide to change my mindset and just do it anyway, I find out that, wow, I can get something done. And I'm really glad that I decided to use that 30 minutes towards making one, even if it's a teeny tiny step forward. It's a step forward. So keep that in mind. And for longer term projects or any projects, even if your comic is only 8 pages or 2 pages, whatever is taking you longer than you expected, remember, it's progress over polish. You don't need every part of the project to be 100% the best that you've ever done. Would we love for it to be that way? Hell yeah. But sometimes you just got to keep moving forward. And every part, you're not going to enjoy every part. There's some parts of comic making that I absolutely love and could do all day. The time goes by. I haven't eaten. I get up early to do it. I could just go on and on and on. There's other parts of the process that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I realize the only reason I'm not the biggest fan of is because it's not a strength. I'm not the biggest fan of inking right now because I feel like there's still so much for me to learn about inking. So it's not my favorite thing to do. I'm not the biggest fan of coloring right now, but I want my comic to be colored, and the reason why I'm not a fan is because I feel like I have a lot to learn about coloring. So it turns out that maybe the reason why those parts aren't as amazing is simply because I just need to get better at it. But I'm not going to let that stop me from making comics. Even if it takes longer than I expected, I'm going to keep going forward. One crucial thing that will help you on your comic making journey is remembering why you're doing this, why you're creating the story. Reconnect with why. Why does this story matter to you? Why did you choose to make it a comic? Why did you select this particular project? What keeps you excited about it? I mean, you're telling a story that only you can tell. This is your vision. When you put pencil to paper or pen to tablet, this is a story that no one can tell exactly like you. They might have the same exact story, but the way you see it in your head, the way it comes out in your artwork, that's your unique stamp on it. Just remember, your story matters, your art matters, everything that you're working for. I think one of the things that keeps me going is that I love seeing my ideas come to life. Even though my comic isn't perfect, it's not finished, I see what, like, I'm making this thing. Like, it's really about to exist. It's going to be read, and hopefully it's going to be enjoyed. And even if it's not enjoyed, I'm going to enjoy it because now that story is out of my head and it's out into the world. You can reread your script. You can remember your concept sketches, go back and revisit them and look at them. And remember the things that got you excited about them. Remember the scenes that you couldn't wait to draw. Remember the scenes that you couldn't wait to draw. Remember the pages that you were so excited to plan and design. And I don't know if you guys like to do this, but whenever I make a comic, I like to give it to someone, usually my wife, but I like to give it to someone and I like to watch them read my comic. I want to see their faces as they read it. Do they pick up on all the little details I added? Do they understand how it's flowing? And please don't wait till the last, like, you're absolutely finished to let someone finally see your comic for the first time. If you can, do this at the thumbnailing stage. Or you know what? You could do it at every stage. You could do it at the thumbnailing stage, the penciling stage, the inking stage, and of course the final finish. That's something I haven't done. I usually let people see it at the thumbnailing stage, and then I kind of let people kind of peek at it at the inking stage. But I think I'm going to start sharing more of the whole thing so that way so I'm not waiting so long to see the excitement or the surprise or the shock on someone's face as they read my comic. Give it a try. And if you do give it a try, let me know how it goes because, like I said, on my next comic, I'm going to do the same. So these ideas come with setting a minimum creative goal per week. If you know you've got 1 hour that you can spare, set the 1 hour. If you can only do one page, one page. If you can only do one panel, one panel. Work within your schedule. If you know morning time works best for you because no one is around to bother you, then set your clock early so you can get up and focus on your comic. Or if you're waiting till everyone goes to sleep so you can focus and be left alone, set that time and make that daily commitment to at least give yourself some time to work forward on your comic. You can build rituals where you can listen to the same playlist of music, something that inspires you. Work on your comic in the same space if you have a desk or an art room, or if it's on the couch after everyone's asleep, wherever. Just revisit that space, make it yours. And just remember what does it take to get you into the creative flow. For me, to get into the creative flow, I love listening to podcasts. I love listening to YouTube videos where either artists or different topics that I'm into are taught are just talking and I can easy listen, but I'm also creating at the same time. Other times I'm having a conversation with my wife if it's just something like while I'm flatting. There's many ways that you can get into the flow, but just keep going, like I said. Some things that you want to avoid, don't keep redrawing the same page forever. Ship it and move on, because done is better than perfect, as Jake Parker has said, and I'm pretty sure there's other people who have said it before him. But don't get stuck in the redesign loop or the not good enough loop. The page is the page. Yeah, you can come back to it if you want to, but one or two revisits and then move on. Do the best you can and move on, because your point is not to make the perfect panel. Your point is not to make the perfect page. The point is, tell your story. Finish the story. Finish the comic. Don't go radio silent. You might feel very alone while you're creating a really long comic, where because you're working on it, you don't necessarily want to share it, but share it somewhere. Share your process as many places as you feel comfortable. Share it on Instagram. Share it on Discord. If you want to share it on Tumblr, if that's still around, or Twitter, Blue Sky. I don't keep up with, or Facebook. I don't keep up with all the different social medias, but pick the social media or your friends or whatever feels comfortable to you, but pick somewhere and share your progress, so that way you can celebrate the joy of where you're at, and other people can celebrate that as well. If you're sharing in a group of comic creators or manga creators, most of them are going to congratulate you as well as inspire you as well. Don't listen to the haters, don't listen to anything negative. Kind of check the vibe of the group. There's a couple Facebook groups that I'm a part of that are around comic creation or manga creation or webtoons. And if the group is toxic, just leave the group. You don't need that in your life. But if the group and the vibe feels right, then share your stuff. Tell them like, hey, this is what I'm working with. It's taken me a long time, but here I am. Show up. And you might be surprised that other people are exactly where you are. I know that when I listen to podcasts given by artists explaining their process or their fears or what they're struggling with, it gives me solace. It gives me life, because I'm not alone and you are not alone either. We all experience this. We all struggle with this. Just share your stuff. It's worth it. And last but not least, do not make the comic bigger. You're running behind. You look at your pages, you're like, oh, I really need one more page, or I need 2 more pages to make this comic even better. No, don't do that. If anything, you shrink the comic. Take away panels that don't help move the story forward. Take away pages that have nothing to do with the overall story. Like if you see something that doesn't move your story forward, it's just there to be there. Unless you like those pauses or whatever, just take it out. Don't add more on. Just stick with what you got. You can always finish the comic. If you feel like, oh, I can add a little bit more, then you add more. But don't add more just for the sake of adding more. So here's some tools that help keep me on track. I set tiny weekly goals that are actually achievable. Always temper down your expectations. Let's say on a really awesome week, you finished 5 pages. Don't set that as your weekly goal. Set your weekly goal at 3 pages or 4 pages. Or let's say your day, like in a day, you can finish 1 page. Set your goal at half that. Your aim is to finish half a page. If you end up finishing a whole page, great. You're doing amazing. You're ahead of schedule. But if you don't manage to finish that whole page, at least you got the half finished. Create some rituals. So for me, I love working in the morning. I wake up super early so that way I can be left alone to create and draw and do the things I need to do. I also designate some time after work to spending some more time on working on my comic. So set a ritual, make a plan, put it in your schedule, make the time to make the comic. Have a check-in day where once a week or however often you feel is necessary, you post your progress to your social media or a Facebook group or wherever people hang out these days online. Create a checklist. Have a checklist for the script, the layout, the pencils, inks, flats, shadows. You can do it for every single page. You can do it for every scene. You can do as many check boxes as you need to feel like you're moving forward. And as you complete them, check them off. You'd be amazed how good it feels to check off one of those boxes. Use a done list or a completed list alongside your check boxes. You can have a list of things you need to complete that day or that week or that month, and you write them down, and as you complete them, you check them off. This list can be very helpful because sometimes you lose your way. When you're on a long project, you don't know you're up from your down, and you're like, I don't know what I should be doing. I don't know what I need to focus on next. But if you've already done this list, you've created this list, you know exactly what to do next. You don't have to guess about it or figure it out. You know that today I'm supposed to ink scene 2, panel 4 through 6. Make it simple for yourself. You can set yourself deadlines, but give yourself padding. Give yourself some extra time. Give yourself flexibility, not punishment. So for instance, for me, I thought the comic was going to be done in 3 to 4 months. That was a lie, but I had no idea, and it's okay. Some webtoons I have been able to finish in 3 months, so I think that's why I assumed that I could finish a whole comic in 3 to 4 months as well. So with that, try to figure out, if you've never done this before, set yourself a minimum goal instead of a maximum goal. Not, I want this comic finished within 3 months. Set it, I would like it to be finished within 6 months or something like that. Like, whatever it is. If you've got 8 weeks to do it, let's say you've got an 8-page comic, you'd like to see it done within 8 weeks, you might be able to bust it out in 6 weeks. But give yourself the extra time, 2 to 3 weeks, or at least even an extra month or 2, or however long. Like, you have to base your deadline, especially if it's self-imposed. If you're a professional, which, hey, a professional artist is watching my channel, nice to meet you. But yeah, if you are self-taught, you are self-propelled to do this, then that means you're setting your own deadline. So with that in mind, give yourself space. You can plan to create it in 4 months, but give yourself that extra month. Say, yeah, I believe I can get this comic done in 4 months, but I'm going to give myself 5 just in case. But also realize that maybe 5 months isn't enough. And that's okay. Like, you're going to hear me say that a lot. It's okay. And it's because it's what I need to hear. I also need to hear that it's okay that it's taking me as long as it is to work on this comic. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. And some of the things that I use to help keep my mind in a positive state is some mantras, which maybe you can add this to your mental Rolodex or write it down on a sticky note and place it somewhere on your wall where you work, or just as a reminder. So like, I'm not behind, I'm still building, progress is messy, done is better than perfect, finished is better than perfect. And remember that your story still matters, even if it takes you 2 years instead of 6 months. The story hasn't changed. It's just your perception of it. Why you started making this comic hasn't changed. It's just your perception of it. And your future readers are not going to care how long it took. They'll care that you finished. And, you know, that's kind of interesting because you think about manga artists that some of their stories have gone unfinished. And it's like, I think about Hunter x Hunter. I'm not currently reading that manga, but I know that it goes on hiatus for quite some time. And yes, the fans, they want more. They're like, I want more of the story. But they also understand, and when the story does come out, they celebrate the fact that they got more. So just put your story out. Finish the comic, put your story out, it'll all be worth it. Here's another thing that you can say to yourself to remind yourself to keep going. I care about this project too much to rush it, and that's something I've learned to be proud of. This is your story. It's something that you've been thinking about, something that you've been dreaming about, and you're bringing it to life. And it's going to take time, and it might take more time than you expected it to take. But it's going to be amazing. Just think of how you're going to feel once it's finished. Once you've done all that work, all that time, sharing it with the world, sharing it with your friends, sharing it, period. It's out there. Your story exists. You did something. You did a thing. A lot of people stop themselves. They don't complete their dreams. They don't follow through. And if you are making a comic and you finish the comic and you share the comic, you're already ahead of the game. Because a lot of people, they don't keep showing up. So just keep that in mind. You making this comic, this manga, is important. And who knows? Maybe one day you're going to be someone's favorite artist, someone's favorite comic artist, someone's favorite manga artist. Could you imagine that? Wouldn't that be cool? But that will never happen if you don't finish the comic and if you don't share the comic. Making comics is slow, messy, emotional. It's easy to feel behind. But every page, every hour, every small effort, it all adds up. You're not failing. You're still in progress. And progress is enough. So if you're tired, take a breath. Don't quit. This story still wants to be told. Just keep going. Keep drawing. Keep writing. Keep dreaming this thing into existence. You're doing it. You're living the part no one talks about. The middle. The long, quiet, the sometimes boring part of making things. You're not failing. You're in progress. Just keep going. Your story is still worth telling. And you're the one who needs to tell it. These are all words that I need to hear. And I'm pretty sure if I'm an artist struggling to finish my comic, trying to cross the finish line, then I'm sure there's so many of you just like me. And if you're like me, let me know. Did this episode resonate with you? Did you also need to hear this? Did you also need that reminder to keep going, to keep drawing, to keep creating, to finish? Because if you needed that reminder, you're welcome. And thank you for watching and listening. And let me know in the comment section, where are you at in your comic journey? What part of your comic/manga making journey gets you to this moment? Is it the penciling? Is it the inking? Is it the colors? Like, where are you at? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll tell you where I'm at right now. I am in the coloring phase, and I am so tired. But at the end of the day, I know it's going to be worth it. So remember, we're in this together. You're not alone. Just keep going. And I'll see you guys next time.